Well, here we are, everybody. It is now the end of June of 2021, and as we get closer to the release of the Book of Boba Fett, a lot of fans are still very much enjoying the Bad Batch, with, of course, Episode 9 and now Episode 10 about to air in the next couple of days. Of course, a lot of fans are looking forward to that, and everything related to the future of the Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Also, make sure to check me out at Mike01 on Twitter if you would like to. Now, moving ahead, we do know that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively developing tons of new Star Wars TV shows that are actually going to be announced by this fall. So keep your eyes open for November to December. That's going to be a very interesting time this year about learning about the new movies, the new TV shows, the books, novels, comics, and just new lore that's going to be thrown into this universe overall. So looking ahead to the future, alright, one thing is for certain is that we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are trying their absolute best to make Star Wars as best as possible. They want to actually regain many of the lost fans that walked away from the sequel trilogy movies, and the fans that also walked away from the entire Gina Carano situation when she was fired from, of course, the third season by Kathleen Kennedy. Now, we went over a couple of days ago about what went down on May 27th. May 27th was a big day for Jon and Dave as they had a big meeting with the board members over at Disney about Gina Carano returning into Star Wars and coming back to the franchise and exactly how they could go about doing that. And as I said, you know, we are going to be learning more about this over the summer, throughout this entire summer leading up until September, which is when everything will be finalized and handed down to Gina Carano. So, looking forward to what Gina is going to decide once September arrives. However, what's really interesting is what Disney actually has planned when it comes to Carano's return. Now, given that now both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are fully invested with their new Star Wars projects for the franchise, it's described that they are beginning to wrap production on the Book of Boba Fett before they begin working on other shows such as Star Wars Ahsoka and more. However, it's described that Disney currently has a major plan to rehire actress Gina Carano that is now being organized over at Lucasfilm that will be finalized by this September for all of it to be handed down to Gina Carano. The plan by Disney is described to be a very detailed layout that they are still putting together that consists of bringing back Gina Carano as Cara Dune for the last couple of episodes for The Mandalorian Season 3 and for the majority of The Mandalorian Season 4. Now, this is best described to be their only option right now, given that most of The Mandalorian Season 3 has already been written and that the final episodes are still in the works by Jon Favreau, and that Disney has plans to write in Cara Dune for multiple special appearances in the third season. As for Season 4, which has not been written as of yet, would include Gina Carano in a more significant way than Season 3, given that they have more time to work on the show. Now, the plan is to have Gina Carano work with those like ROSARIO Dawson and even Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett in the third season. This is something that Jon Favreau pushed Disney to do, and that Disney is beginning to cave in. Once September arrives, this plan will be finalized and handed down to Gina Carano for herself to decide. Now, additionally, on top of all of this, this is where things begin to really pick up, is that Cara Dune is planned to have a major redesign for the series based on original concepts of what Jon Favreau had before Gina was fired by Kathleen Kennedy. These concepts are planned to be used for her in the show as well, as there is an actual planned time jump for The Mandalorian Season 3 to explain the progress of Grogu and, of course, his time with Luke Skywalker. Now, here's a very interesting progression, right? This is a very interesting development on Jon Favreau's part. Given that everything related to Jon Favreau and what he's been trying to do, what he's been trying to push for by bringing back Gina into the equation here, it really does show us that this guy cares about the fandom. I want to go back to what Jon Favreau actually said a couple of months ago of how Gina Carano was built for the role of Cara Dune. She was built for the role. In fact, the name Cara Dune is actually low-key taken from her last name, Carano. you know, Gina Carano, Cara Dune, they kind of got inspiration from her name and used that for the character's name. And that just goes to show you how much dedicated the character really is to Gina Carano right then and there. So, everything related to what John and Dave are trying to do by incorporating Gina into the Star Wars universe once again, this is a very interesting plan that Disney has in place. By incorporating Gina as Cara in the last couple episodes of The Mandalorian Season 3 for starters, and then progressing to her being more significant of a role in The Mandalorian Season 4, because that has yet to be written. So, that to me is good enough. You know, it sounds great on paper, it sounds great as a plan by Disney and what they're trying to put together for the Star Wars fandom. However, like I said, it's all down to Gina Carano. It's all a matter of what she wants to do for coming back to Star Wars. That's the biggest question. Would Gina Carano even want to come back to Star Wars? You know, you think about it this way. The way that she was treated by Kathleen Kennedy, the press, some of the fans out there, would Gina really want to come back? Well, that really does all depend. There are a lot of supporters of Gina Carano out there. And if a lot of fans are rooting for Gina Carano to come back, she could very well come back to do it strictly for the fans. And that would be a very nice thing. But without a doubt, if she comes back, she's going to be more mindful of her surroundings, of the employees over at Lucasfilm. One thing I will say is that Jon Favreau thankfully is cleaning house over at Lucasfilm ever since his big promotion over there, as well as Dave Filoni getting his big promotion. There's been a lot of change over at Lucasfilm. A lot of employees are pretty much being stripped out of certain projects, like certain directors and writers. We'll get into that a little bit later. Very interesting stuff going on. Now, everything related to Jon Favreau. Alright, Jon Favreau is a man that knows what the Star Wars fans want. And we got a lot of surprises coming our way for Season 3. There's a lot of big things happening for the third season with Boba Fett, Din Djarin, Luke Skywalker, Mara Jade, Palpatine, and more. A lot of things are going to be thrown into the third season. Basically, Jon Favreau said that he wants to make the third season feel completely different than that of both Season 1 and 2 combined. It's going to have a different feel to it. And that, to me, is a big step that shows us that he's trying to evolve the Star Wars, you know, live-action TV series that really has been quite a big hit on Disney+. And Disney wants to take advantage of that. You know, they want to just let Jon Favreau do what he has to do and do what he does best. You know, he knows Star Wars at its heart, and he knows exactly what to do. So, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this plan by Disney and, of course, Gina Carano. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.